I dream about our babies. Gazing them days and contagious, you're my baby. We know each other like the back of our hands. Understand, there's no mistaking, I'm taking this, you're my drug.
What's good, YouTube? It's your girl, Asia.
And it's your boy, BJ.
Back in the building.
Back in effect.
Back like we never left.
And we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for pulling up for another pull-up session. Yeah. Today we're going to be checking out Joe Rogan. We're going to be checking out, actually he made a reaction to a trans swimmer beating women in a championship. So I definitely wanted to get your take on it in regards to like your reaction to what he's saying in regards to transgender women being in sports, you know, competing against women, things of that nature.
Oh gosh, it's
you know
not,
what I mean?
He's not gonna be all disrespectful and stuff, is he? I don't know anything about Joe Rogan, so I'm just like,
yeah, Joe Rogan is cool.
Okay, all right, y'all. So we'll check him out. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let's jump into this video. I'm interested to see how this is gonna go. So here we go, y'all.
And if you can't joke that someone used to be a man, if you're not even allowed to talk about it anymore, now it's forbidden.
And you get in trouble for even questioning it.
That seems kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It seems kind of crazy when someone like really looks like a man and you can't even say that anymore. Like you're not allowed to bring it up. Like, okay, this swimmer from Penn State that's dominating and crushing records and just won the NCAA, just won.
Yeah.
Number one. Was number 400 something as a male.
Yeah.
Was swimming as a male a fucking year ago. Becomes a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And now is number one. If you
Leah holds an unfair advantage over competition in the world's category as evidenced by her rankings that have bounced from 462 as a male to number 1 as a female. Whoa.
That's heavy. That's a hell of a statistic right there. I'm looking at that like that. It's a complete lopsided type of thing in regards to like competition. How you go from being 460 in regards to males, and all of a sudden now you number 1 as a female. That's showing you the advantage right there.
It's very imbalanced, yeah.
fucking year ago becomes a woman, and now is number 1. If you can't joke about that, you can't say, well,
did she go the full chop?
No.
Well,
No.
that's.
Well, here's another thing.
I'm sorry. That's.
There's an issue there, right? But
I'm sorry.
What is going on? Like, you know, first of all,
I am a woman and I have a penis. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all.
you're there, right? But what is going on? Like, you know, first of all, you've gone through your entire puberty. You've gone through years and years of your body producing testosterone, which strengthens your tendons, your ligaments, and your joints, your muscles, and all the lung capacity, heart size. There's a lot of variables that are in favor of someone who goes through puberty and then transitions to a woman when it comes to athletic events. There's a lot. And again, that Derek More Plates, More Dates guy, he has a great discussion of that where he goes in depth. And Derek is brilliant. And he really understands this from a scientific perspective and breaks it down scientifically, the benefits of going through puberty. So all these women that had to compete against Leah,
So is he saying that it's a possible, like, I guess just in terms of growing through your puberty, like if you don't go through puberty, like if you were to become a transgender before you get to the puberty stages, that you won't like progress or, you know, grow into a man or a woman fully the way that you're supposed to because of how those things are altered? Because will that affect everything else? I mean, just because you added, changed your parts, you know what I mean? Does that affect everything else because you do it after or before puberty?
Yeah, if you haven't went through puberty yet, then yeah, it would play a part. Because again, like I said, with the testosterone, like in a male, like it creates all these different things in a male that you can never have in a woman in regards to like muscle strength. Like I said, muscle capacity, how much muscle you have over your whole body, even down to the point to like your heart and your lungs and things of that nature. Like, yeah, it's a complete disadvantage. Like there is no comparison between a male and a woman in relation to like sports.
Well, I agree. I agree with that, but I'm just asking in terms of like, does that change the fact that they will grow differently if you were to have like that type of surgery done before puberty versus having it done afterwards, because I feel
Absolutely.
like with a man, like for boys, you know, like he was saying, they have bigger lung capacity, they have stronger muscles and stuff like that. Like, does the lung capacity change because you changed your parts? You know what I mean? Like,
if you didn't go all the way through puberty as a male, then yeah, because the testosterone is what is the key to like the hormonal change
to all those things being
Yeah.
changed. Okay.
So all these women that had to compete against Leah, they all stood together on a podium. The second, third, and fourth girls all stood together like in unity, and then Leah was over there. So she's in the number 1 position, and they all stood together in the number 3 position.
Wow.
And then the audience cheered for them and stuff. It's like,
So they should.
It's fucked.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Because look, I'm not saying you can't identify as a woman, be called a
Right.
woman, be treated as a woman. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to sports, when you're talking about physical performance, there's a reason why we have male categories and female categories. And
Right.
when it's demonstrated that someone who is very recently a male has a significant advantage over the opponents to the point where they're breaking records,
yeah.
maybe that's not fair.
It's
Maybe that's not fair.
I feel like it's not fair. It's not fair at all. And I think anybody out there with eyeballs can see that. You know, that it's not fair at all. That's why they have men's sport and they have a women's sport.
But my thing is like, why has it been so? It's almost like they put women, actual women, in a. You know how they have the protected classes, right? You know, for whatever, you know, ethnicity, sex, race, whatever, right? So why with transgenders? How is it that they're put before the protected class of a woman? It's almost like they put women lower than a transgender woman to protect them and their feelings and make sure that they're okay, that we don't make you feel any different over women.
Just
and like
women, period.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And vice versa. You know what I mean? Like,
That's almost what they did in regards to this particular case too, allowing a transgender woman to swim with other women and then allow her to break records and then allow her to be in first place and then be on the podium standing at the very, very top. That's probably as protected as you could probably protect a transgender person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To allow them and then still give them the accolades that I feel like they didn't earn because you know, the playing field is not even.
it's not an even playing field. I mean, granted, like I said, it's just like I just feel like, right? Women are in a protected. I don't know. I just.
They're putting like transgender women, especially when it comes to like sports and certain type of like classism and social places. They're putting them in a certain protective place as well.
To more so protect their feelings.
Just to protect them, period. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not make them feel any. I don't know. Gosh.
Yeah, just to protect them as well.
The point where they're breaking records.
yeah.
Maybe that's not fair.
It's completely not fair. And it's not fair to
Maybe you should be able to talk about that.
Maybe you should. Maybe we should bring it up, address it when
maybe
she's beating them by a full lap.
Here's another point. Maybe
Wow.
that's causing more harm to the transgender cause than it is good.
Yeah.
Because you're forcing this into society in a way that's going to make people resentful.
Yeah,
Right.
completely.
And then there's some people that should be treated with dignity and respect that transition. They're now going to be considered in the same way that this person is considered, where they think of her as a cheater. They think of her as like cheating against these other biological females.
Yeah.
And until there's enough trans women where you can have a trans league, which, you know, would be interesting.
Yeah.
Like that would be like a category. I don't think there's enough now to warrant that, but that's part of the problem.
Has there been one case of it going the other way?
No, not successfully.
I don't think it's necessarily like. Would you consider it to be cheating?
Absolutely. Yeah,
You do?
absolutely. Absolutely. Because you can't take a woman and put a woman in a man's sport and think that she's gonna have an advantage. unless they're sitting down and unless they compete and doing some calculus and they doing some brain work. But when it comes to like physical activity, there's no way that you can put a woman into a male sport. So why would you take somebody who was naturally born as a man who has all the male attributes?
Well, because maybe I don't know
attributes.
if cheating is the same thing as unfair, but I'm just like, maybe it would be unfair. I mean, granted, like they won the race, fair. You know what I mean? They didn't cheat to win. Cheating is cheating, but it just wasn't a fair race. I don't know.
I disagree. I disagree. I feel like it's the same thing as somebody taking performance enhancing drugs. That's what I feel like, because they're clearly getting a physical advantage over everybody else.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I would agree.
That's crazy.
I would agree. Yeah. I'm just trying to look at this from all angles, all perspectives. But I mean, yeah.
Only got one angle.
Yeah.
Has there been one case of it going the other way?
No, not successfully. And the other issue is men have a prejudice against women doing comedy. Like, a lot of men don't necessarily want women to be funny and don't necessarily think of women as funny.
Are they comedians or audience, do you think,
audience.
in general?
I think audience.
Really?
Boy, that's a good point right there.
As far as women in comedy, I never thought about
firsthand, okay? No, I think, hold on, let me let him finish.
Necessarily think of women as funny.
Are they comedians or audience, do you think,
audience.
in general?
I think audience.
Really?
I think this general men, like, oh, chicks aren't funny. I think that is a prejudice that no man says guys aren't funny. Right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
If they do, they're posers.
Yeah.
They're just trying to fuck some girls, and they probably have a little dick, and they're just like a male feminist. And I think men are terrible. I prefer women comedians.
Yeah.
Hannah Gadsby is my favorite. Like those
She
type
a comedian?
of guys, allegedly. Those guys exist. Those guys do exist. Those fucking those fiercely feminists they put in their Twitter bio. Like those fucking guys they're out there. But you know what those
What do you think
guys
they think about the transgender athletes if they're fiercely feminist? Because they should be on the side of the 4 people that were standing there in arms, right?
They should be. Yes.
And if they're not, they're full of shit.
Yeah. See, that's the only area where I have a problem with this whole movement. It's not the acceptance. It's the reason why we don't have males compete against women is that there's a benefit to testosterone. It doesn't mean Serena Williams can't fucking kick my ass in a tennis game any day of the week. She absolutely
She'd kick my ass
can.
a lot of things. She'd probably beat me up.
Probably. But it's like but we're talking about against male players, she would lose.
Yeah.
That's just the reality against some. She'd beat quite a few, I'm sure.
I think that too.
Wow.
I think that she would be. And that's the thing, it's like it's not every single guy that she would beat, but she beat probably a good majority of them, you know what I mean? Until she got to somebody that's probably like on her level, you know what I mean? And then it's an actual competition, you know what I mean? And nonetheless, it's very likely that she might lose because she's not.
Because Serena is next level.
Yeah.
As far as.
I mean, we know this.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking in general. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This one is.
This was a good topic.
Yeah.
I personally feel the same way that Joe Rogan, basically the same way that they was explaining. I feel the exact same way. Like, I really feel that even if a man wanted to, like I said, change and make the evolution into a woman, okay, that's cool, that's fine. But when you start crossing over into sports and trying to play sports, you still need to sign up as a man and play. Yeah, but the thing is, the problem with that is that there's not a sport that, if you do have a transgender man that has become a woman, you the image of putting a man that looks like a woman on an NFL football team is not gonna, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Even if he can play. Okay, does well and everything else, but the fact is that there's no place for them. You can't put a transgender man that can play his ass off in football that actually that has wanted to be a woman in a professional sport. You just can't. You know what I mean? Disagree. You cannot. Because then you're still crossing those same boundaries. Why would you put a woman on a man's team? You know what I mean? Like. Again, like I feel like.
But even though he's still physically able,
Mm-hmm.
he has you know what I mean? He has everything.
Because I just feel like, I mean, you're making a decision to go from a male to a female, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, naturally, based on how you were born, you still are going to be a male. Just because you identify as being a female now.
So what team would they
fine.
play on?
They're gonna
because you can't. If it's not fair to put a transgender man on to compete against women, and you can't put them necessarily. I wouldn't say I might say can't. Like they just won't put a transgender man that, like I said, is really good at something on a professional team with men. Where in the middle do they fall in? So it's almost
That's
like, okay, well,
no
now they can't play sports.
There's no middle. It's either or. Like I said, if you're born as a male, you need to still be enrolled and playing in male sports. If you was born as a woman and transitioned to a male, you still can play female sports, but you need to be playing with the women. Period. There's no middle ground. I feel like it's either or. You know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. I think that's where the cross is that either you're a transgender man that wants to compete as a woman because that's what you identify as.
Now, yeah.
But it's not fair to put them into that category and have them compete against actual natural born women.
Right.
But then you can't, like I said, it's just like that. To me, in my opinion, it's just like, where is the day where we see that they put transgendered men on an NFL football team, on an NBA basketball team? Because they can still play. Obviously, they can lift weights, they can swim, they can do everything else.
Yeah, but I feel like that's what needs to happen. That
is what needs to happen. But why won't they do that instead of putting them on teams where they identify? Like, if that's the case, it's just like, okay, you can still identify as that, but if you're really a man, then play with men.
Yeah, but
compete with men.
But I feel like the person that went from a male to a woman, they're pushing to swim with the women and play in the women's sport. My thing is like, why are they being allowed to even cross over to do that? I feel like it's too much of an advantage. Just and you saw when the man won.
I agree with that.
You saw when the man won, like the women, they banded together like this is wrong.
Yeah, because I agree. Yeah. I do agree with what you're saying. I do. I think that men should compete with men, women should compete with women. But regardless of like how you identify, I think the problem is that there's no middle ground in there to mitigate that whole problem in general. There's not a sport for transgenders just for them. You know what I mean?
And there never will be.
And there never would be.
Right.
So that's where I feel like the problem lies with that. It's like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of back and forth of what you think and what you believe. I just think that the problem is that they won't push it towards the right way, the right direction, because of the image of how that might appeal to other people in terms of like your big sports fans.
As far as societal goes, maybe that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just feel like it just needs to be simplified, and it's so simple.
It is.
Whatever you was born as, that's how you need to compete.
I agree.
And and it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Y'all let us know what y'all think.
Please do.
Because I do think that.
Very touchy topic.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
It is. Something that I feel like maybe should be more discussed. Not necessarily to say that they need to compete with women that are not like them, but more so about men who identify as women that want to play professional sports or be a part of sports should be a part of the sports that they should be a part of. And I don't know if I feel like that's where it gets kind of...
It does. It gets very, very tricky and so many things.
Finicky.
But yeah, it do. But I just feel like they just need to simplify and just keep it one way rather than trying to appease too many people, because I feel like they try to appease too many people. And
but then that goes back to the feeling things.
They try to inject the agenda. They try to push the agenda on the people as well.
Onto society. Like, we're supposed to be, like, that's supposed to be okay. I feel like we're okay with them being who they are and who they want to identify with.
Exactly.
1,000%. But I feel like that the problem is that people don't agree or they're not okay with
and same
how
thing.
that agenda is being pushed upon people.
Exactly.
Because it's not
has been pushed into society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same thing with the bathrooms and now with the sports. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, hey, I mean, y'all let us know what y'all think about
Man,
this.
y'all tap in. This is very, very touchy.
Yeah.
Very, very touchy.
Yeah. So, If y'all enjoyed this video and y'all want to see more content like this, be sure you give us a big thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, join the family, and if ain't nobody told you, I love you, and we gonna see y'all in the next video.
Absolutely.
Yeah, bye.
Lust in your body, boy, I'm